Hello everyone and welcome back to Gundam of Gundams. I'm Josh.
No, I'm Amy.
And today we got episode 5 of Gquuuuuux.
It was a pretty standard episode, I think. I don't think we got as much lore building and or world building in this one, but still very, very entertaining.
Yeah, it's not as good as the last episode, I would say, but there are still some interesting things to talk about in this one.
For sure. Want to dive into it?
Yeah, let's just jump right in. So beginning of the episode, we see a furnace for a colony, and we got Gaia and Ortega in there, like in a ship, trying to in line to do stuff.
Yeah, it looks like they became junk dealers after the war. Looks like they were kicked out by Makube. And we also get a cool cameo from our other Black Tri-Star.
Mash, who's now a mayor with an affair.
So it looks like he became the most successful out of them, but at least we know he's still alive. We weren't sure from the previews, so all three of them made it out of the 1 year war.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, Mash has got it good. I'm just saying. But yeah, they are bitter about Char and the Red Gundam kind of taking credit for the entire war. And so they're going to join the clan battle to get back at the Red Gundam.
They even have a trading card, which is kind of fun. The Gquuuuuux and the Red Gundam, so.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. I wonder what rarity it is.
Yeah, super. What is it in
Is it
Eternal?
a holographic?
I don't think it was holographic, but I think they're both super rares in Eternal, right? So.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a quick scene with Gaia and Ortega. But after that, we go back to kind of like the junk guild. Machu is kind of she wants to be alone. She's kind of like sunbathing.
Yeah, she's a little shaken up still from the last battle where, of course, Shiko died, so probably because she could definitely feel it through the Kira, so. And, of course, I think the crew points out that she probably doesn't know anything about war, considering that she is born and raised on Side 6, so.
Yeah, there's that, but to me it seems like her dialogue more points to she felt very useless during that battle.
Well, and we can go back and say, yes, Shuji pretty much took care of that whole battle, so.
Yeah. And then, Shiko just kind of like team killed her own guy.
Oh, we don't know if they're dead,
Well,
but yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a talk with Anki.
Yep, who still knows too much, and we don't know who she is, but
Yep, and your theory was debunked this episode, but we'll get to that later.
yeah, we'll get to that later. She just kind of gives her a pep talk to be like, think about what you really want, or I guess the person you really want, so it kind of helps clear Machu's mind after everything happened.
Yep, then they just have donuts and stuff on the roof.
From Saturn Donut or something.
Yeah, Saturn Donut.
No clever pun from a company, not like in the remote and stuff like we saw the last episode.
Let's see, I think in my notes I might have taken this out of order. Was the montage first, or was Xavier looking for the Gquuuuuux first?
Oh, that is a good question. I think you have it in your notes next for montage, right? So
Yeah.
let's just talk about the montage, and they kind of go together anyway, so.
Yeah. The montage is just Machu's daily life, like going to school. She goes to get her pilot suit cleaned, which I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting it to, just put it in the washer and it just be fine. I don't know,
like dry clean or something only for like those pilot suits, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting something a little more, I guess.
I guess she doesn't have a helmet or anything that attaches to it. I don't know if like it's just kind of a modified suit, so maybe that's why they can just throw it in the washing machine.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not really looked into how those get cleaned in other series.
No, I don't think we ever really see it. That's kind of one of those topics that never gets discussed.
Yeah, they do that. They go out, get food. Then they go to check in on Shuji.
Yeah, I call him the hungry tapeworm. I mean, that kind of makes sense because he's, of course, always hungry. And they just catch him
Yeah.
as he's coming back from doing some more painting. And I was laughing. I was like, does the Gundam just have like this giant paintbrush that he takes with him to, paint the Kira on the side of the colony or something? But I thought it's just funny thinking about the Gundam just like as an artist, like painting outside the colony.
Yeah, or is it just like a giant like can of spray paint?
Yeah, we really don't know. So, I mean, he does, I think, spray paint under that bridge, so that would make sense. But, like, does he have a Gundam like size spray paint bottle that he uses? And I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah. But after he gets back in and the airlock closes, they hang out on top of the Gundam. Uh, Machu kind of talks to them about kind of ordering like the shuttle service so they can go to Earth.
Oh, the space glider. Yeah, she
Yeah,
put in like a bid for it, and basically she just says the money is talking. So all that money that's from the clan battles is going to their Yashima space cruiser thing. It is Yashima because we see it again. That's the one they're looking at. And I think they say 2 more clan battles, and basically they'll have enough for what they need saved up for it.
yep. And then Machu kind of explains the Kira kind of phenomenon to Nian. She kind of explains it kind of like a sun setting ocean kind of vibe, like freedom.
Yeah, like water set it like the light settling on the ocean with that sparkles.
Yeah,
And Yan just basically says we haven't seen the ocean, but I don't know. It just really speaks to Machu, and I think with the Kira that we've seen throughout the series so far, it looks like they're all different colors depending on who the corresponding pilot is, and I think we'll get to see more of that later in this episode. But it's kind of interesting how it all kind of, I guess, fits in their personalities and how they interpret it.
yeah. It's we did not hear a la la sound now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't think we heard one this episode.
Yeah, that's strange.
I wonder if it's just at certain, like, I guess, spots that the red Gundams will kick in. It doesn't look like the Omega Psychomu or Psychom system. Like, it has the Lala sound. It seems like it's only the red Gundam.
Yeah,
Because that was the last episode when it activated during the fight with Shiko. That was the red Gundam activating its system. So that's why we heard the Lala thing. But it doesn't look like the Omega Psychom actually has the same sound with it.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that before.
Yeah, I didn't either. Now you brought it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where we are. They say they're gonna kick ass in their next clan battles to make sure they get the money. You want to go into kind of Xavier and then the Soden crew, just kind of what they're doing on their side.
Yeah. The Sodon crew is kind of, hanging back. They're kind of being a little bit more patient with this. But Xavier wanted to go look for the Gquuuuux himself. And in the process, he's getting the crap beaten out of him by everyone that he questions.
I just feel kind of bad for him. He definitely does not have the street smarts to be doing this.
Yeah. However, when he is on the train, we see him talking to a Xeon informant. And we kind of get this hint of Xavier and Shalia kind of being at odds with each other.
Kind of on how the best way to get the Gundam is back. But also he talks about how Cassilia kind of thinks that it might be Shalia's fault that he might have let this happen.
Yeah, like it's all part of some kind of scheme or something. So that could be an interesting kind of foil in their plans later.
Especially spoilers for next week's episode, but we'll get into that as we go into the episode preview. But yeah, we don't know what exactly Shalia's relationship is with Zeon at this point. We know he has special orders with the Sodon just to kind of find the Red Gundam, but is it under Cassilia? Is it under Giran? We are not 100% sure yet.
Or could it be under someone else?
Or someone else. We don't know. But it does look like Cassilia does have some doubts about what Shalia is doing right now. So it might affect, what's going to happen later on with the actual Sodon crew.
Yeah. Well, while Xavier is kind of wandering about, he's kind of sitting down in the subway area, not the restaurant.
$5 footlongs.
Yeah, he's getting his $5 footlongs. Because inflation hasn't hit side 6 that bad.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Subway equivalent in any Gundam series, just the McDonald's, the McDaniels and stuff.
Yeah, McDaniels.
And unfortunately, that was on Granada, not on Side 6, so we're not going to see Captain Heineken, if he did survive the war, grilling up some burgers there.
Yeah. But while Xavier is in the subway area, he kind of recognizes Machu, but he's not like 100% sure that it's her.
Yeah, he kind of recognizes the uniform and kind of the height and the build, but he's not 100% sure it's her.
Yes, and it's around this time where Machu and Yan get kind of cornered by guards, mostly for Yan.
Yeah, just police going around. Probably it looks like the security's gotten heightened up for just probably all the crap that's been happening in the colony with the Gundams and everything. But yeah, they ask her just to show her ID because they know that she's a refugee. And we get, I don't know if I could call it like an homage to Camille, but it definitely does remind us of that whole Camille trying to beat up the Titans, like when he kind of gets arrested in that first episode.
Yeah, like the colors are kind of the same. I'll have like a side-by-side up.
We don't get Machu is a girl's name.
Machu is a girl's name.
Or I guess Mate is her real name.
Yeah.
She wouldn't use her
her
clan battle.
Camille's a man's name, and I'm a man.
So yeah, that was fun to see, but yeah, they end up having to outrun the guards. So Machu actually gets kind of pulled over into the locker by Xavier, and he saves her. Yes, he does, but he's also trying to figure out if she's actually the Gquuuuuux pilot. So just basically they're kind of stuck in that locker, and Nian goes ahead and goes over to the junk guild so before the match starts.
Yeah, and she kind of pretends to be Machu. Like, she doesn't, like, tell everyone else what she's doing.
Yep, gets in her suit and everything. You can tell that doesn't really fit.
Yeah, like, the arm length is definitely a little too short. I'm actually surprised that it even fit at all, honestly.
I guess she's lanky enough body-wise, but, arms and legs are just, I guess, bigger than Machu's, because Machu is just like really tiny.
And then she kind of brings up something interesting. She says that she's done this before. And I'm assuming that means that she's been in a mobile suit before, not in clan battles before.
Yeah, probably maybe the way how she escaped her colony or something. We don't know exactly. We haven't gotten her full backstory yet, so hopefully they'll explain that pretty soon, but it looks like she does have some experience, and kind of see it as she goes into space. She says, it's kind of a relief to be back in space, I guess, so.
Yeah. That also kind of reminds me of Camille.
Yeah, in a way, huh?
Yeah, because like he escapes the colony in the Mark II, and then he's like feels more relaxed.
It kind of brings up the I know this is a Yusuke Engage thing, but they're talking about like the whole monitor thing during the Sharon Amuro thing.
Oh yeah, where they're like, you see, the reason why space looks blue in the cockpit is because of the graphic settings in the cockpit area. People find it a lot more comforting other than the black abyss of space.
I don't know why they went so much in depth with that, but it's just funny.
I swear, that was like just 5 minutes of explaining why space looks blue.
And they don't. We don't even know if they've even gotten that far with cockpit technology or anything in the Gquuuuuux era, but it's just like, oh my god, man. That it just sticks in my mind now that they like spent 5 minutes talking about how space is colored blue for people, and Char's just like, no, we're turning that shit off.
Like, nah, I don't need this. This is stupid. Turn it off.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I guess this starts the clan battle.
Yeah. Gaia and Ortega just immediately go towards Nian in the Gquuuuuux, try to knock her out first, and they do that by just wailing on her, just just physical attacks and electrocution, kind of like what the it's kind of like what the Hammurabi squad in Zeta Gundam did, where they got their I kind of hate to call them heat rods, since they have nothing to do with heat. It's electricity.
But it is kind of like the goof heat rod, though. And I think another thing to point out is these are actually called Rickdoms. Or, we just from going from the Gelgoog the last time, which was more of a GM looking thing, we actually have DOMs now.
Yeah, that is very surprising. It's surprising that the DOMs look like DOMs, but by the time that they were probably being developed, it was probably in the final stages of development.
When the Gundam showed up.
Yeah.
See, and I think that we talked about it too, that maybe the goof actually was developed, but as far as we know, there was no space variant, so that might be a reason why we're not seeing them. So I wonder if we ever do get to Earth, will we see a goof?
The goof, I don't know, I mean, there are also other MSV mobile suits that we could potentially see, especially now, like with the end of the episode. But we can get that when we get there.
But yeah, it is a lot like the Hammurabi attack, though. Basically, when they use those wires and they electrocute the pilot.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that Nian kind of survives that.
It's kind of funny that they bring up, is this allowed? At the same time, it's like, you guys just killed another pilot in the last episode. I think it's pretty much no holds bar at this point.
Yeah, this has just kind of become like survival of the fittest now.
Yeah, we get to see some pretty cool tributes, and Nian just, I don't know, she loses it, man.
Oh, yeah. But before that, the DOMs have like an extra leg on the back of the suit.
And it uses as like a booster.
Yeah, they use it as like an extra thruster, which I find kind of cool, but I also find kind of odd at the same time.
Yeah, and then they even like come together. You'll see later on in the fight, like they become like a giant super booster together.
Yeah, it's almost like a rocket, like thrusters on a rocket all together.
Yeah, and I was actually wondering, did they cannibalize that from like...
From Mash's
Dom? Mash's Dom or something? Is that like, their tribute to him is just using his legs for their boosters, the extra power?
Mash is always with us.
Even though he's a mayor now.
He's a mayor with his fling.
But yeah, just, Nian's getting just beat the pulp out of her and everything. She's getting electrocuted. And, like, she's just getting really angry and...
Oh, yeah, she just gets pissed off. She like, breaks mentally
pretty
almost. Much. Yeah, and, like, Haru's just getting, like, pushed up against, like the console and her foot. And personally, I think Haro is the one who's activating the Psycommu and not Machu or Nian.
So it might not even be like a new type thing that's unlocking it. But if that's the case, like, where did this Haro come from?
Yeah, why is Haro compatible with like this latest Gundam?
I mean, there are like, I know I've seen some people try to theorize if like maybe Amro's making Haros now. Maybe he's mobile suit developing with his dad, because we don't know where Temray is yet. We don't know if Temray had anything to do with this Gundam, just because we saw Moskam, or is that how we pronounce his name?
Yeah, Han, yeah.
So we saw him last episode, but we don't know anything about Temray, so we don't know if maybe that's a link, but it's kind of interesting how like the Haro's the one who says he's unlocking it. It's not necessarily the pilot.
Yeah. So if Xavier got in the Gquuuuux with Haro, would he be able to activate the Psycommu?
Maybe. Maybe that's what he needed in the first episode.
Yeah. But yeah, after the Psycommu activates, not only are Xavier and Machu just shocked, but then Nian just kind of goes even more crazy.
Yeah, she sees the Kira and she finally understands, but like I said earlier with the color palette, hers turns into like a purple versus like Machu's is
like a pink.
It's like a blue and a pink. It's very
like a blue pink. It kind of matches her hair now. I'm thinking about it.
Kind of, yeah, but it does kind of remind me of like ocean colors versus like Nian's is really dark and purple.
Yeah.
And then we've seen like Suji has been green and then red, and then it's like all these colors are like corresponding to like each person. So I wonder if just like the Kira is just a little bit different for everyone.
Yeah. But I am like legit wondering if the Psycommu is almost like drugs.
Cause she like, you look at her eyes, man. She's like, oh, I'm free.
I'm free. I'm so euphoric right now. I'm tripping balls over here.
I mean, that's literally how it looks. I mean, she gets so crazy eyes, and it's hilarious how she actually ends this battle after the Kira activates. But she's basically just grabbed Suji, and we haven't talked about him too much in this fight because he's actually like sick or something. But
he like has a cold. Like his head is not in the right space at the moment.
He looks totally drunk. We were looking at that picture, man. He looks so totally drunk. But
looks like me when I was just super dehydrated.
But the little robot thing is like, yeah, your temperature's up, you have a cold, and yeah, so for most of this fight, he really does nothing. It's not until Nian activates the Kira, and she grabs his face, throws him in front, and then the Bi-Stars, I don't know, the two Tri-Stars use the jet stream attack, and you get kind of something similar to when you saw kind of Amuro kind of dodge it during that whole battle in the forest area with the whole Medea squad around. Kind of time slows down. You see just like the bazookas fire, and it's pretty hilarious how she grabs his face and just puts him in front.
Yeah, and Shuji blocks the first attack, and Yan is able to slash off Ortega's cockpit hatch.
Well, and Suji gets his beam saber too, and he slices
the bazooka.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think it was kind of a tribute to the first Gundam series. But you see, I can't remember if it's Ortega or Mash, but he pushes the metal out of the way of the cockpit.
Yeah, it was Ortega.
But it reminds me of Rumba Raw when he does that.
Yeah, he just pushes the molten metal out of the way.
Except for it makes a lot more sense here because it would cool down way faster in space versus Rumba Raw and his, I don't know.
Hey man, Rumba Raw is a man. He doesn't care.
Yeah, that thing would be piping hot though. You'd think it like burned through like the pilot suit or something, but he pushes that with like just his pilot hands, and it just makes a little bit more sense here where the metal would have probably cooled down a little bit faster. But yeah, that was a fun kind of, I think, Easter egg. But they decide to kind of go back for another jet stream attack,
Yep.
and we get the bright like flare that they do, solar flare basically.
Yeah, the plasma cannon, I think it is.
Yeah. And yeah, it just kind of ends up being where kind of the same thing happens, but this time it's a little bit more fatal.
Yeah. It's not really explicitly told who does this, but I'm pretty sure it's Nan. She fires off like a dummy of the Gquuuuuux.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
Yeah. And that actually blinds or
Just distracts them enough.
Yeah, it at least distracts them enough to where Shuji can get in front of him, and Yan can get behind Gaia.
Mm-hmm. And then basically, beam saber. She actually takes the second beam saber out of the red Gundam, and that's how she basically cuts that Dom in half.
Yep. After doing like a Matrix style dodge from the bazooka of Ortega.
They were all really cool visuals, and then basically, other Dom, Shuji takes out the head, but so it seems like it's pretty faulty because the whole thing explodes.
Yep.
So guess what? We have 2 more kill counts.
Yep, that takes us to 5.
Woo! 5.
5.
And that's the end of the Tri-Stars, basically, except for MASH. MASH is still a mayor.
Yeah, MASH is still a mayor with an affair.
Living his best life.
Probably gonna see Randy O'Fair.
Mm-hmm.
And O'Malley's Pub.
Oh, God.
I don't know, I was kind of running out of things to rhyme.
That's such an old reference. I don't know if anybody's watched College Humor to know what that is. But so the battle's over. Machu does eventually make it back to where the Gquuuuuux kind of gets back to the Junk Guild, and the Junk Guild. I feel like I'm playing Eternal with Gundam Seed right now, but their group, the Pomeranians, and she's just really surprised that it's Nian in the suit. But
yeah, and she's very upset.
Yeah, she says that the Kirikiro was something that her and Shuji shared, and it's probably part of her personality. I don't think because she's been in such a manufactured environment for so long that she finds this like the one special thing about herself, and having to share it with another person is probably makes her a little jealous. I don't see her really holding a grudge against Nian for that long, but we'll have to wait and see with the next episode.
Yeah, that's probably just going to be the plot of the next episode, is her getting over it, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, I think just because, I was assuming the 3 of them were kind of planning to go to Earth together, so it kind of gives them another connection.
Yeah.
And maybe she realizes that more, but her being so sheltered and this being, her one thing that gives her close to anything, that's freedom, that's probably why she's more upset about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That kind of ends the episode.
Yeah, that is the end of the episode. As for the preview, there's not a whole lot for us to really cover, except for the fact that it seems like Cassilia is going to be going to Side 6.
Yep.
And the episode is called A Plot to Assassinate Cassilia.
It's kind of like almost one of those Gundam titles, like Garma's Fate, that comes up.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder what's going to happen to Garma.
I wonder who's going to try to assassinate Cassilia.
Or like in Double O, where it's called A New Returner, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I wonder what's going to happen to her.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with Cassilia, but it's gonna be another world building episode, so that'll be cool to see. And of course, you get to see Cassilia in the actual preview itself, and
Yep.
she got kind of a glow up, I would say. She doesn't look like she's 40 years old like in the original series.
Yep.
She's missing her helmet too, and she doesn't have like her mask thing on. It's kind of weird.
She could be doing like that undercover thing, like she does in Gundam: The Origin.
Yeah, where she's Catherine or whatever.
Yeah, where she's like Catherine or something.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to finally see Cassilia and maybe get some more insight on what's kind of the hierarchy rule of space right now.
Yep.
And of course, we don't know who this assassin is. Maybe it's somebody from Giren's camp and trying to take her out to kind of get full control. Only speculation at this point.
It's Crown.
It's Crown. I mean, he didn't die this time yet. I mean, at least we don't think he fell into the atmosphere, so.
But yeah, there's that. Oh, the location of the Red Gundam has been leaked.
Yes, that's also in the preview, so.
Shuji got doxxed.
Oh. You have to wonder who doxed it. I don't know.
I wonder who doxed him. It was the Haro, I bet.
Probably. This is kind of funny because people are like, they make the joke memes that the Haro has Char in it, which is just really funny, just because he's white. So, that would be funny if Char was just like randomly activating the system just for all these new types to like experience the Kira.
You're like, I am going to ensure the future of new types.
You know, something I have been thinking about though is, have new types develop more? Are there more new types now that technically there's been peace in space for a while?
Well, technically.
Yeah, technically speaking. There hasn't been like, an all-out war to like just, murder a whole bunch of people, essentially is what I'm saying. Because it just seems like there's new types like dime a dozen at this point. Like everybody's like, everybody we're coming in contact with kind of shows some kind of new type potential. Maybe I was just wondering like if Zeon winning the war actually set it up so that more space noids could, become new types.
That's a good question. But at the same time, you have a whole bunch of people with new type potential in Zeta Gundam.
It's true. Yep. I mean, even the first Gundam, that's why they kind of established the white base crew as the kind of prototype new type like squad, so.
Yeah. But I only bring up Zeta Gundam since like timeline wise.
It's the same timeline.
Yeah, it's like very close. It's only off by like a couple of years.
Yeah. So it is interesting to just kind of see the world to see if like new types are more accepted. I know that like back in the second episode we had the whole report from the Flanagan Institution about Char.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's like a publicly available thing yet or not. With new types being a more accepted thing, with peace per se in the in outer space. So it'd be interesting to see if more new types are actually developing or not.
Yeah, that would be interesting. All right, so this is a editing note. We did forget something.
So back at the Soden, basically after the clan battle, we get two pretty important things that we wanted to add in. So we get the mention of Lieutenant Simmons, who we talked about a little bit in the last review, just because so many people thought her and Anki were basically the same person, but I think now we confirmed that they are different people. So she's at Granada, and Shalia just basically tells them to get a hold of her. But we also get kind of another surprise at the end of that.
Yes, so Shalia requests a mobile suit called the Kikuroga. And from what we know, that's an MSV suit, a mobile suit variation suit. Basically, it's a prototype Zeong. It's kind of like a step between the Gelgoog and the Zeong.
and it shares a lot of qualities with the Saikomuzaku. I've seen in G Generation. I don't think I've ever seen the Kikuroga in G Generation, but it has kind of like the same thing. It has like the wired fingers with the kind of laser guns on them, kind of like the Zeong. And then it has like two big ones on top of his shoulders. So I think that's a nice kind of throw in to kind of have a suit that I guess doesn't get a lot of limelight for sure. It hasn't been animated for what we know. And I don't know if this is true. We just looked on Gundam Wiki, but I guess apparently it was supposed to be in the main series, but just with all the episodes that got cut, it just never made its debut. So if that's the truth, I think that's a really cool thing to put into Gquuuuuux. Kind of that alternate history that we never got to see.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just... I'm just trying to remember what... Like, did I use this in G Generation or did I not?
Yeah, I don't... Like I said, I don't remember using it.
Yeah.
Because it does really look like that step right behind the Zeong. Except for it has legs. We can talk about how the Zeong should have had legs all day, but you won't want to talk about that, so...
No, because it's stupid.
Whatever. But yeah, if anybody, I guess, has used it in G Generation, we just might be off. Of course, we haven't played every G Generation game. I guess write it down in the comments, because it would be interesting to see it.
Yeah. And if you guys would like to watch us play like a normal G Generation game, let us know about that too.
Yeah, besides the new one that just came out on the phone, Eternal, it's kind of hard to do a playthrough just because there's so much that goes into those games, and
yeah,
there's just a lot of leveling up and different stages. But I think if we did like maybe like a series or something, like these are the 0079 Gundam levels for a G Generation game, that'd be okay.
Yeah, or like the original G Generation, that's pretty streamlined.
Yeah, it's not as complicated as some of the other ones.
Like, you pretty much just go from one stage to another. There's no like level grinding really.
Yeah, but if you guys are interested in that, that would definitely take some more time to get done as a playthrough versus kind of like a regular game like Journey to Jabra or Encounters in Space. But if you're interested in that, let us know.
Yep. I think that's all that we forgot.
I think so. So do you want to go over kind of just last thoughts for this episode?
Last thoughts? Yeah, I guess. Like I said at the beginning, I thought it was good, but not as good as last week.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like, I don't mind the pacing or anything with this episode. It was still good. The animation, especially with the fight with the Tri-Stars, is really good. It was just, I don't think we got as much out of it as we did the last episode. But it was really fun. I'm not going to say it's a bad episode or anything, because we got to see the Tri-Stars again.
Yep.
So, we get a little bit more world building, but just not as much. And then, of course, we get to see Nian kind of break out of her shell. Like, I think a lot of people expected her to be kind of the more kind of calm, collected one.
Yeah, but no, she's just the closeted crazy one.
Pretty much. So it was good to actually give her some time on screen. And of course, Xavier doesn't know that Machi is the pilot yet, so they could be getting slowly closer to discovering who the exact pilots of the Red Gundam and the Gquuuuuux are.
Yeah, I think once they win their next battle, I think they're going to make a mad dash to Earth.
You think so?
Yeah. Because we can't stay on Side 6 the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And like you said, we said it before, the episode count is very small from what we know.
Yeah, I think it's 12.
Yeah, so we're already kind of speeding through things, and if they only needed 2 more battles to get enough money, then they will probably get the space glider pretty soon.
Yep, and next week is going to be halfway, like the halfway point.
So yeah, this was a really good episode still. Not as good as the last one, but still pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say maybe like a B minus, C plus, somewhere around there.
I give it a B.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's it for me, honestly.
Yeah, I think those are my last thoughts too. Looking forward to the next episode, of course, to see more of what's going on here. So, looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's good for us. I think we're going to sign off on this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed our ramblings. Just please subscribe, and I'm sure we'll have more stuff coming up. We still have to set up a lot of things for this channel, like social media and stuff. We're getting there little by little. It's a lot to do in a short amount of time.
And we're kind of doing this part-time.
Yeah, so, but we're just glad you listened to us, and just hope you come back for the next episode. Anything that's coming up on the channel, Josh?
Second episode of Encounters in Space is coming on Friday. It's actually coming up on Friday. I have it scheduled. Not like last weekend where stuff came up and I had to post it up on Saturday. We will be doing a playthrough of Gundam Seed Battle Destiny when that comes out.
You just pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I just pre-ordered it.
So look forward to that. We still have so many more videos to do. We still got to do the UC Engage one. We might be doing another follow-up to Eternal just as, more things come out on that. So we'll see.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll do like a video on the Seed Recollection story.
Yeah, it was good to get more Seed footage for sure. All right. Well, you want to sign off, Josh?
Yep. This has been Josh.
And this is Amy.
For Gundam of Gundams. See you guys later.
Thanks, guys.